For all the joy and calm houseplants can bring, it can be a little bit overwhelming when things start going wrong. For example, losing leaves, discoloration, limp stems. It can be really hard to know where to start. So today, I thought we could take some unwell houseplants and together attempt to rehab them to get them back to health. The first one that I want to take a look at is this Dischidia, and I picked this up in a garden centre a few days ago, and as you can see, its leaves look very succulent, very full, but if you look a little bit closer towards the top of the plant, you can see there's quite a bit of growth that is just pulling away, and in fact, that is rotten. It's been saturated with water and is likely suffering from the early stages of root rot. So knowing what I know about this plant, I think the best thing to do in this situation is to chop it up and propagate it. So I've got a container here, and I'm going to just fill a little layer of semi-hydroponics at the bottom, which is just lava rock, pumice and clay pebbles. Next, I've got some soil which has got some perlite and sand mixed in. And because I am dealing with quite a succulent plant, I'm just going to mix in a little bit of orchid bark. So it's nice and light and airy. So that is what it's looking like. And then I need to decide where I'm going to cut this plant. So let's just go ahead and take a cutting here. I'm going to remove these leaves here. And that is the point that I'm going to pop down into the soil now. And the reason that we remove these leaves is just because if you leave them on and you pot them in the soil, it can make the plant much more susceptible to rot. So once I've done that point there, the little bump on the stem, that's the node, that's where my roots are going to grow from. I'm literally just going to stick that down into the soil like so. And then I'm going to just continue to do the same again, take the cuttings, remove the top leaves closest to the soil and stick this down again into the soil. Perfect, so I'm just going to add a sprinkling of soil in the gaps over the top where I can. And then I'm just going to give this plant a little water, and I'm just going to watch the reservoir area at the bottom and make sure that only kind of a centimetre or so is filled, because I don't want to overwater the plant straight away. There we go. And if you look at the bottom now, you can just see a little bit of water there. And as the plant starts to root, that's where it'll gather all its moisture from. So I'm going to keep this plant somewhere fairly warm, fairly light. I'm going to monitor its reservoir, and I would hope in the next couple of weeks I should start to see some roots. And then I will have a lovely, healthy, full plant again.